This is the tutorial for Chapter 21 in your Beginning AutoCAD workbook. Okay, our objectives for Chapter 21 are to match an object's properties with another object, create revision clouds, and use the wipeout function. So let's look at match properties. So for match properties, you can select an object that has the properties you want. So for instance, color, layers, line thickness, and then pick another object and switch that second object to be the same as the first. So for instance, up here on your home tab, under your properties panel, there's match properties. So it can copy color, layer, line type, scale, line weight, plot style, transparency, all those things. So match properties, I'm going to pick this line, the hidden line, as my source object. And then I don't have to hit enter or anything because my command line says select destination object. So I can change as many lines as I want to match the first one. And when you do it, match properties, select your source object. Before you pick the other lines that you want, you could go into settings, and these are the properties that it will match. You can turn them off if you want. So for instance, I'm going to turn off color and say OK. And it still did it because it's matching the actual layer. But anyway, match properties, you're going to use match properties. You can use that quite often. The other one, match layer, works the same way, but all it does is just changes your object to the same layer. Actually, let's look at that. Let's go into match properties again for a second. Select our source object. I just want to make sure that I put this back to how it should be. Okay. And then select that object and enter. Yeah, so it changes the layer, changes everything about that. But if you just wanted to move something to match another layer, so there's match layer. It's this little button here with the paintbrush. Okay, select your object. So select the object that you want to change. So I want to change my object line. And I'll change this line as well. And then enter. And pick your destination layer. So those are changed now to another layer. The next thing that they talk about, revision clouds. So sometimes when you get a drawing marked up, meaning that someone's corrected it or made notes on it, we said those are revisions, and if they're really nice, they'll circle the area with a revision cloud so that you can see where the change was made. So let's go to annotate. Usually too, you might create a new layer for markups and change it to a color that would stand out. I'm just going to use my text layer for now, I guess. But now I'm going to change the color on it and change it to this bright color. Okay, so annotate your markup panel and revision cloud. So that's an example of what a revision cloud will look like. You can have a rectangle, a polygon, or freehand. So let's just do a basic rectangle to start. So rectangle, then we have options. We can do arc length, object, rectangle, polygon, freehand style and modify. I'm just going to do a plain rectangle for now. So click a corner, and then just however big you want it to be, which direction you want it to go in. Let's do another one. Let's select arc length. So our arc length was set to 0.5. Let's change it to 0.25, I guess, just so you can see the difference. Okay, let's do another one. I'm going to change my arc length back to 0.5. And this time I'm going to select, let's do polygon. So with a polygon, you can draw different shapes. And we can also change our style. So instead of leaving it normal, we could do calligraphy, which is the one I like because it stands out nice. So that's the revision cloud function. Get rid of those. The last one that they talk about is called wipeout. Oh, with revision cloud as well. You can pick revision cloud and you can select object and pick a polygon or a closed object, and it'll turn it into a revision cloud as well. Okay, the last one then under markup is wipeout. So I'm going to move, so I'll do one freehand first. Markup wipeout. So let's say I wanted to clear an area of this so I could put a note there or something to stand out. So it says specify first point. So I'm just going to click points here, and it just makes a closed polygon. And then see how it erases that out in the background. It's still there, but you don't see it. It just kind of covers it up. Or we can do a set to polyline already. If we had a shape drawn, which you don't really need to do because you can do it just freehand with the polygon, but if we had a shape drawn, we could do wipeout, polyline, select it. It says, do we want to erase that polyline or leave it there as a frame? So let's just leave it as a frame, and it'll hide what's in the background. And one command that they don't mention, but it's an important one. Usually when you do a big drawing, you're going to have some layers, you're going to have stuff that wasn't used. You might have some dimension styles kicking around, text styles, stuff like that. So to make your files cleaner and smaller, you can use the command purge. And then it'll say, what do you want to purge? And I'm just going to say purge all. So meaning anything that's unused, I want it to get rid of. And then it'll say, do you want to purge certain things? So for instance, these are the different arrowheads. These are my borders. I'm just going to say purge all checked items. And do it again, purge all checked items. So you'll know everything's gone when you can't purge anymore. So close. So if I look at my layers now, there's a bunch of them that are gone. So purge will clean your drawing up for you. I just undid it because I want to keep that stuff in my file. But yeah. Okay, so I guess, yeah, that's it for the tutorial for chapter 21. That's the end of the tutorial for chapter 21.